If you could flip a switch and Bitcoin was instantly jumped to $1 million per coin, would you flip that switch? My answer is no, I would not flip that switch. And here's why. The answer is because Bitcoin is a once in a millennia opportunity to right the wrongs of unsound money, to fix the wealth inequality that has been caused by the government printing vast quantities of money, thereby making the people who primarily live off of money and save in money worse, and inflating the asset prices of those who have assets like real estate, stocks, bonds, and everything. Overall, everyone's worse off, but the people who live on money and save in money as a larger percentage of their assets and their net worth are much more harmed and hurt when the government does that. Even though it makes everyone worse off, it makes the people that are lower on the income levels much worse off than the people higher up. Of course, the people that live near Washington, D.C., that are part of the military-industrial complex, live off the largesse of Washington, well, they end up better off from all the money printing because they're the ones who get it first. And they buy stuff with all the newly printed money before the prices go up for all the rest of us. But I would not flip that switch because the current adoption of Bitcoin in the United States and worldwide is still barely 5%. In fact, I think it's less than 5%. It might have barely hit 5%. Okay, so if 5% of the world owns an asset and you flip a switch and it makes a huge leap from being worth $2 trillion to being worth let's call it 21 trillion, $1 million per coin, 21 million Bitcoin, that's a $21 trillion market cap. If you flip that switch, then suddenly all of that 95% of the world population who has to one day adopt Bitcoin is adopting it at a price that's 10 times as high. And we don't know where the price of Bitcoin, how high it could possibly go. I mean, some people say 1 million, 3 million, 10 million, 21 million. Who knows how high it could go? But I want the maximum number of people to benefit from the upside between here and there as possible. So if you gave me the option to flip a switch and the price increased to $1 million per coin, but it increased because all of a sudden in the next 24 hours, a huge swath of the world adopted Bitcoin as a substantial portion of their assets, then absolutely I would flip that switch right now. The problem is that's just not how humans work. Humans take a long time to adopt technology. They just do. It doesn't matter what kind of technology it is. Humans take a long time to adopt technology. And so right now, Bitcoin is still in its infancy. It's adopted by maybe 5% of people. That's very early, hardly anybody with significant adoption. Now, for somebody like me, I've already got 100%, there's bugs and flies everywhere. I've got 100% of my assets in Bitcoin, so I don't anticipate being able to buy additional Bitcoin other than with my paychecks every 2 weeks, because that's my only source of income right now, is a paycheck every 2 weeks. But think about it for yourself. Even if you think your gut reaction is, yes, I want Bitcoin to be $1 million tomorrow, think about that. Do you own as much Bitcoin as you ever want to buy in your life? Think about your retirement funds. Think about your long-term savings. Think about emergency fund. Think about every source of financial capital you have right now. Do you have as much of that in Bitcoin as you are ever going to want to have in your life? And the answer is probably not. Bitcoin as a percent of your total net worth, meaning all of the assets you own, is probably still a relatively small percent. So it's fun to think about, and I'm sure you would enjoy momentarily if Bitcoin teleported instantly to $1 million per coin, but immediately you'd think, well, dang it, I only had 10% of my net worth in Bitcoin. So yeah, that doubled, which means my whole net worth doubled because, 10% turned into, 10x. And if it was 10% of your net worth, then suddenly your whole net worth doubled because that 10% went up 10x. But you're probably going to think, well, dang it, I wish I had had more time to get a higher percent of my net worth in Bitcoin. Because as the price rises, people's conviction builds. Now, I tell people, look, if you're using price to increase your conviction, you're always buying more expensive Bitcoin. I recommend the reverse, which is study Bitcoin, build your conviction of Bitcoin, the technology, the monetary system of Bitcoin, build that conviction by studying it, And that way you can put a lot more money in Bitcoin with a high conviction when the price is lower. You don't have to wait for the price to be high to build your conviction. But again, a lot of people, the price increase is the only thing that does build their conviction. It's just the way it is. Everybody's busy. They got a lot going on. And so the price is what builds their conviction. And even for me, after I bought Bitcoin in 2017 and 2018, I got super distracted in 2019, 2020. And when the price of Bitcoin came roaring back in 2021, I started paying a lot closer attention to it. So even me, even though I built my conviction during and after 2021 on research and study, what got me interested in building my conviction and interested in researching and studying was the huge price increase in Bitcoin in 2021, because it proved to me with minimal effort that this asset was here to stay. And the price has a way of doing that is hard to get any other way. So if I could push a button and teleport Bitcoin instantly to $1 million per coin, I would not push it, because a lot more people need to get on the lifeboat before the lifeboat takes off across the ocean to shore. We still got 95% of the people on the sinking Titanic in the traditional financial system. And I want a lot higher percentage of those people in the lifeboats before we take off for shore toward $1 million per coin. So while I know it's painful and I know it's boring waiting around for Bitcoin at $107,000 per coin, think of all the people who are getting a chance to buy Bitcoin and benefit from a 10x price increase between here and $1 million per coin. All of those people are benefiting from Bitcoin not being at $1 million per coin right now, because they can buy it right now. And you have the opportunity of buying more Bitcoin at 107,000 per coin. And if it teleported to $1 million, you'd probably want more Bitcoin. And you would also realize that your opportunity to make 10x your money between $107,000 Bitcoin and $1 million Bitcoin, your opportunity to do that had passed you by, because it teleported instantly to $1 million per coin. So I'm glad it doesn't do that, even though obviously it would be fun. And for people like me who are 100% Bitcoin already, it would benefit me, because there's no additional capital I can put in Bitcoin, or that I anticipate putting in Bitcoin in the near term, because I literally have no other dollars than my every 2-week paycheck. So I guess I can just use my every 2-week paycheck to accumulate Bitcoin. But obviously, since I'm 100% Bitcoin already, I would benefit the most from something, teleporting to $1 million. But again, not even I would push that button, because it would leave 95% of the people behind. And Bitcoin is a once in a millennia opportunity to reverse the curse of humans controlling the money supply, debasing the currency, and screwing everything up. And so I hope as many people as possible can get in the Bitcoin life raft as soon as possible, and that way the broadest number of people can benefit from the price rise from here to $1 million per coin. And I hope that adoption happens as fast as possible by average people. That is my hope. And so the faster the price goes up as a result of adoption by regular people, that is the price increase that I welcome every single day. If the price increase is just teleporting upwards because nation states and countries and corporations are adopting it, well, obviously that benefits me, but that's not the way I want Bitcoin's price to go up, because it's leaving behind everyone that's not part of that. So anyway, be thankful you have an opportunity to still buy Bitcoin at 107,000. And if you don't have a single penny left to buy Bitcoin, then be thankful that other people still have an opportunity to buy Bitcoin at $107,000 per coin. And when as many people as can possibly get on the life raft at 107 are done getting on, and the people who have held Bitcoin for a really long time and are massively up on their investment are done and tired of getting off the life raft, be it with a little piece of their stash to improve their lives of themselves and their families, probably because they're building themselves their own life raft somewhere, then the price will go up. So have a great evening, everyone. Thanks.